Sup, nerds? So today, we'll be talking about my top 5 favorite authors. I am so pumped. It was actually harder than I thought. Because honestly, it's not that I had too many. I had, like, top 4 was, like, cake. It was, like, number 5 that I was like, but I like this one. Like, no, there are certain, you guys know I love my romance books. I do. But I really love an author who can take you to the world that makes you, like, first of all, you're thinking about the book all day long. You're like, I just want to get home to read this book, to finish this book, or to get the next book. Like, when you order it, you're waiting for it in the mail. Like, there are only certain authors that have that hold over me. And that is these right here. Some of them are, like, really good authors, or I really love the book, but it's like, would I necessarily go out of my way to find something from this author? Not necessarily. There are a handful of authors. There are very few authors, honestly. Like, maybe only, like, honestly, 5, 6, 7, maybe 7. And the other 2 are, like, obviously not on this top 5. But a few times I've gone to the author's website to look what other books they have. But again, that's few and far between. Some of these I do visit quite often because I'm like, I want to make sure I'm getting all the books that I possibly can from you. But again, those are in this top 5. And then some of them I'm like, okay, I just wanted to see if you had any other books. Like, none of them tickle my fancy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? These are the authors that also, like, if they came out with any other book, even if they ditched their normal genre, I would probably read it because I love their writing so much. So, that being said, let's just get started. So, number 5, like I said, it was probably, like, it's Riordan. If you guys don't know, I love Riordan. I did a whole video talking about his books. I love Riordan. He's coming out with a new one. I waited for it because I'm buying it. I have no, I do. Well, now I have the first book of the one series I was missing. So I have most of his books, I should say. Most of his series. There are a few that I just would never read because they look a little too kid-like. But these are like more teenage kind of. Percy Jackson in this, he ends up being like, he goes from like 16, which is when I like started reading them when I was in like middle school, high school, like whatever. So either way, then as he got older, I got older basically. And so now I'm like obviously still reading those books and stuff. So I still read the books. The thing that I love about Rick Riordan is he takes you to the world of Percy Jackson, to the Olympians. He takes you to that place. Like first of all, I was way more obsessed before than I am now, obviously. But I was so obsessed. Like I wanted all the like additional books, like the add-ons that had like that explained like the Greek gods and like the monsters. Like I wanted all those. My mom was like, this is a little weird. And I was like, but they're so good. So that all being said, I was way more obsessed than I was before than I am now. So there are a few authors that are like right below the belt. One good book could put them at number 5 if you know what I'm saying, like one more good book I should say, because some of the books I've read are good, they just missed the mark a little bit, or like the writing, like the author herself, the writing is not particularly special. It's just like the story is really cool and fresh, and obviously they came up with it, but it's like the way the writing isn't necessarily super special from what I'm remembering of the books that I read. There are a few that I was like, I remember really loving this book, and I think it's the writing, but again, I have to read like a second book or something like that. These I've all read more than one book from, so most of and 1, 2, 3, 4 out of these 5 I've read probably over 5 or 6 books from this author. And the reason the one I haven't is just because she hasn't come out with that many more. So, and I'm waiting patiently. Not patiently, but patiently. You know what I mean? That kind of patiently. So anyway, my point is that number 5 is like loosey-goosey. But again, I give it to Rick Riordan. I think he has this perfect writing for, I think, young boys, honestly. I obviously am not a young boy. But again, I started reading in high school. Young girls and boys could read these books too. They're so good. They take you on an adventure that obviously is kind of like, you know, the Hunger Games or like the Maze Runner, those that take you on adventure, but this is like the OG adventure, and this is so unique because it talks about the Greek gods, the Roman gods, which is something like you hear every now and then, but no one like really takes that story and runs with it, except for Rick Riordan and then one other author. But like that one's the adult version. But this, he just does it so well. I think that there's something about to give props to his writing. I do think too his writing in the beginning was just so much more unique and so much more special as I was reading and growing up. I feel like now obviously his writing is kind of mellowed out. There's so many good authors out now, and I feel like obviously because also booktube and book talk and all these things, so many people are getting down to the nitty-gritty of writing that Rick Riordan kind of falls in the background in the literal writing regards, but the story of Percy Jackson and even like Magnus Chase, like all the characters are so good and they're so iconic that you can't take that from Rick Riordan. He's done that so well, and he will continue to do that. He's writing a new series that I'm gonna read, and we'll talk more about it, but I feel like that gives you a good sense of like him as why I chose this as number 5. His literal writing is very, again, teenage. It's very easy to read, if you will. There aren't these big words that just float out. Like, it's not like that. But it also, some of the slang is in there as well. So if again, for a younger audience, it's really good writing because it's very with the times, if you will, very chill. It's not like he's saying crazy things, and so it's really nice. I'm reading this book. I'm actually reading I Am number 4, and I can't get this out of my head because I'm gonna say it a million times until I finish. Obviously, until we finish that series. But he writes like instead of like he'll say I am. So most times, or he'll say like instead of he is, like specifically like that, and I'm like, nobody talks like that anymore. And like, I understand, like, writing it, you want to be like specific and you want to be like, he is spelled proper, if you will, but I'm like, this is a little too proper for the type of book you're reading, but I'm enjoying it so far. Anyway, Rick Riordan isn't like that. The way he writes just takes you to another place immediately. It's instant, and you want to wait for the next book. You want to buy the new series. I honestly replenish my books every so often because they get musty, dusty, crusty. Like, I don't even know how this happened. And so, look at how? I don't know where this was. But anyway, so I need to get some new ones. And I'm thinking of reading this book, honestly, this month, but I haven't gotten there yet. Okay. Enough about Rick Riordan. That one I just felt like I had to explain a lot more because this could be replaced, essentially. But I wanted to explain why it's not replaced right now, basically. So I hope that helps you understand. Okay, so then number 4 is, she's the only one that I've only read 2 books from because she only has 2 books right now, I believe. I'm waiting for the 3rd one to come out. It's in my Amazon cart, and I'm waiting for it. This is the Elena Armas, The American Roommate Experiment. I picked this one because I like this one better than the first one. Even though the first one's so good, this one is just so much fun. It's so unique. It is special, honestly. And her writing is so good because, first of all, she, the characters, both the two first books, at least one of the characters is Spanish, and so you get those like Spanish words that like, do something to your soul. You're like, ooh. And I don't want to marry a Spanish guy, but for just the simple fact that, he calls her like preciosa and like princesa, like it's just so cute. And obviously you can't hear it, you read it, but I think it's still so freaking cute. And he'll say things like, I had to look up a few lines, not gonna lie, but when you look it up, you're like, so beautiful. It is so amazing. So she incorporates that culture in it, which is beautiful, without shoving it down your throat or saying like, this is the only culture that's good. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's literally just these pieces of a beautiful, beautiful culture, beautiful language, and you love it. And honestly, I want to freaking marry this man. I'm like, this man is so good. And the girl is that's the thing too. You like love the couple. Their relationship is just so much fun. They have lots of humor. You laugh so much with her writing. I think this is another one where her writing, I don't even want to necessarily be the main girl. I want to watch their story. Like, I want to be a fly on the wall. Like, of course you want to marry that man, but like, you want to be on the fly on the wall to watch how this happens, or you want to go and like sit down and like have dinner with this couple. And I love that because it takes you there, and this is real life. This is like, it's not like another planet or another universe or like this fake thing. Obviously, it's like this, it's a story that could happen. I mean, obviously, the way the story happens is probably not super realistic, but in general, it's a possibility. They're human people in the real world. So my point in saying that is just like, you just want to talk with these people, meet these people. You're like, I want to know you. I want to know more about you. I want to see you guys get married and have kids and live a long life. I want to see you guys go to, I think, is it Cuba or Colombia? Something like that. And then what's so cool about this one is that it's like a piggyback off the first one. So the characters are best friends. The girl characters are best friends. And then the girl from the first one and the boy from this one are cousins. I've said that a few times on my channel, but I just want to make sure we're getting so many new people every so often. So I have to repeat a little bit for right now. But anyway, I love this book. Again, her writing is so good. And she just, again, I laughed so much. I've more recently, the books I've read more recently, I have laughed out loud. My mom would be like, what are you watching? I'm like, no girl, I'm reading. Because these books they're so freaking funny, and never in a million years have I ever laughed out loud in a book. It's all in my head. It's like, huh, that's funny. And even when I watch movies too, I'll be it's like, huh, like, yeah, that's funny. It brings me joy, but I don't laugh out loud. This, I cackle laugh. You're like, what? Did he just say that, or did that just happen? So good. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would recommend, and I love this author, and I cannot wait for her to come out with more. There honestly is no reason that she's number 4. It's just more so that, first of all, it's the real world, so it's hard to put it up against like more mythological other books, which you'll see in two more in a second, which obviously they take you to a whole nother world, which is a little bit more iconic. And then also she only has the 2 books that I've read from her, so I'm pretty sure she only has those 2 books, and so I don't have a lot to judge. So but definitely she will probably continue to be one of my favorites. I'm hoping the next book is really good as well. So then number three, she's honestly so iconic, and I didn't even realize how much I loved her writing until like doing some other videos. I'm just like, I love her, and I want to read all her books again and again and freaking again. And that is Miss Stephenie Meyer. She also wrote The Host, which most people forget. I honestly have to look on her website to see how many other books she's written, like what else she's written that I could read. Because you guys know, Stephenie Meyer is just iconic. She is so good, amazing. I want to read this again. This is on my TBR for this month, and I'm going to read it again because I love it. I want to start it right now. But it's so freaking good. She just takes you there, and this is one of those books where you're like, I want to be that person. I want to be that character. Like, me and her are the same. If I was in that situation, of course I'd be in love with the vampire. So this is actually Life and Death, if you guys don't know. It's Twilight reimagined. So the girl is actually, her name is Edith, and that's supposed to be Edward. So the girl's the vampire, the boy is the human, and that's Edward, I'm sorry, and Bella is Beau, and obviously he's a boy. So it's actually super freaking cute, and I thought, like, ooh, there are some weird parts, because, like, the one part, he, like, you know how Edward, like, carries Bella on his back? Well, the one, like, now it's Bella and the girl, which is Edith, carrying Beau on his back, the human, and so it's, like, I'm, like, imagining that in my head. I'm laughing out loud, but, like, the rest of the book is so good. You just feel with these characters. You love with these characters. You cry with these characters. You laugh with these. It is so good, and I think her writing is just, it's one of a kind, because it's not complex. It's not, like, this difficult thing to read. It's not Shakespeare. It's not, like, this backward speaking. It's just very straightforward, but it is something so captivating about it. She adds, like, this beautiful romance, but, like, this pain. It's just so much in it that I just love about her. And I think even reading The Host kind of, like, clicked that for me, because I'm like, that book is so good, and it is so underrated. Obviously, because the movie went to freaking all poop, it was a terrible movie compared to the book, but the book is so good that I'm just like, I just, like, need that to be acknowledged in the world. Again, it's all the same things. You feel with the characters. You love the characters. You don't want, even, like, when someone's brother's mom, friend, whatever dies, you feel, and you're like, obviously that character was not important to the story at all, but you feel for these people, and they're not real people, you know? And that's the thing. That's the kicker. And again, that's obviously vampires don't exist, but it's like something about it makes you feel good. You're like, wow, that was so cute. Or you're like, I just want to be there. Or like, I want to move to Forks to meet these, to feel like there's a vampire. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense. Let me know if you agree. I just think her writing is so good. There's a reason why the Twilights are iconic, and they're honestly, that changed the book game, because if you're looking back at, like, timelines and stuff, Twilight was before Hunger Games, which was before The Maze Runner, which was before all these different series. Lord of the Rings was, I believe, before that, but Lord of the Rings is special in its own way. He's really good too. J.R.R. Tolkien. Yeah. And then also, I forgot about her too. What's her name? J.K. Rowling is, I haven't read the Harry Potter still yet, so that's why she's not in here. Because I honestly don't even know how her writing is, although I love the Harry Potter movies, so I'm assuming I'm gonna love them. Anyway, though, her writing is this specifically, not even talking about the movies, is so good. You watch the whole movie. Honestly, I want them to make a movie of this one, but you watch the whole movie in the book and you don't even feel like you're missing anything or like you want to see it visually, because you see it, you feel it, you're in it. It's there, you know? Okay. Honestly, this probably could have, I'm sorry, I think this probably is number 2. I'll just redo. But number 3, I would probably give this number 3 is Katie Robert. So Katie Robert is a more spicy writer. So if you guys don't like that, obviously it's not for everyone. Sometimes I'm uncomfortable with it. I'm like, well, you took it too far. Other times it's like, whatever. But if you don't like that, obviously don't any of her books. And I've read 2 different series from her, and from what I've read from other series, I believe it's 90% spicy. I don't think she ever has written any books without it in it. So these are all like 20 and older books in my opinion. I honestly don't think, again, everyone needs to read it. I don't specifically say go out and read it. I'm not specifically saying that, but I'm saying I read it and I enjoyed it and I like her writing. Because she, at least for this series, the Neon God series, the Dark Olympus series, again, this is the Greek gods. So this is why I said the Percy Jackson wasn't alone. But this one is, again, it takes you to another world. But it's like a twisted version of those. It's like it's like the Greek gods meet the real world, but adult version. So, like, Hades obviously is the main character of this one, but Hades is good, and, like, Zeus is bad, like, Zeus is corrupt. Like, it's just, like, kind of like politics now, and, like, the president and that kind of stuff, but in, like, its own world called Olympus. You know? Does that make sense? Probably makes sense. But I think this book specifically, her writing, she does it so well where you want to follow the storyline, as well as the rest of it. And so I think that's what sets this apart, is that, like, there is a story mixed in there. There is a love story. You're rooting for the couple is the thing. That's what's iconic about it. I think that, again, it takes you to another world. You just want to go sit there and you want to be one of the 13. You want to be one of the 13. You want to be in this, like, kind of game that they're playing. And it's not necessarily a game, but it's kind of like the social game, if you will. I love it. And I think it's so good. Her writing is really nice. And she does use, like, I don't want to say bigger words, but I do think that this is not necessarily, like, a easy read. Okay, I wouldn't say easy read. I would say it's, like, more of a normal read. It's not, like, super easy or super hard. It's, like, kind of right there in the middle. It's a good read. But it's, like, you're not sitting, she's not like, he is happy. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's not 3rd grade. So, you know, it's a really good book. Again, be advised. I didn't know, I had an inkling because it says unspeakably hot on the title. I had an inkling, and then I was like, but it said, I thought this was like Twisted Villains, kind of, where, like, not Twisted Villains, I thought this was kind of like that, though, where it was, like, just a darker version of, like, the Greek gods, but no, it's spicy, so just keep that in mind. But this is number 3, because I do like Stephanie Meyer better, so I don't know why I said that. Stephanie Meyer is just a little bit better. So anyway, that's Stephanie Meyer's number 2. We'll reiterate. My number one, though, Abby Jimenez. So this is my favorite book from her so far. This is Life's Too Short. This one is so freaking cute. It is so good. I just didn't know I needed it in my life. And I honestly read them in the wrong order, but luckily I read this one last. Like, this was the last one I read. So there's one more after this that was written after this that I read already. I'd read first. And then there's one more that I just got that I haven't read yet, and I'm so excited for it. You don't even understand. Anyway, though, this one is so unique because the couple, like, meets in the most unnormal way. Like, you've never read a book like this. I guarantee it. You've never read it. There's no way you've read it unless you read this book, because it is so unique, but it is so much fun. Again, you laugh at the people. You want to be this girl, but you also want to meet this couple. Like, you want to be in this world with these people, even though they're in our world. You know what I mean? Like, these people don't exist, but I want them to. I want to meet them. I want them to be my neighbors. I want to hear them tell this story because it is so good. I want them to make a movie out of this because it's so freaking good. You just love them. And I think her writing is so beautiful, where she kind of does, you know, she's a more feminist, like girl power kind of writer, which I don't even care. You want to write it in a book, go ahead and write it in a book, but don't like shove it down my throat where you're like, this is the right way and you're all wrong. No, and she does not do that. She does it in such a beautiful way where you just appreciate the book and the characters for who they are. You're not sitting here like, why the heck does she think that or whatever. You're appreciative of what they believe, whether you believe it or not, but you just love the characters. You're like, I want to meet you in person, like for real, because you are so cool, and just, the relationship is so much, like, so full with love. You appreciate it. It's so freaking good. It's hard to talk about books like these where they don't take you to another world, but this one specifically takes you to another place, a happy place, where you just like, this is so much love. It is so, oh my gosh, this book is so cute too, because there's a baby involved, and it's not their baby, just so you know, but you'll see if you read it. I didn't want to pretend like I was spoiling something that I wasn't actually spoiling. It's not their baby together, but anyway, either way, there's a baby, and when there's kids involved, it's a good book. So I appreciate it. I think it's so good, and her writing is superb. I don't know what else to say. What else? I wait for all of her books. I just waited. The other one dropped on April 11th, and I bought it. I pre-ordered it so that it came on the 11th when it dropped. Like, so that's how diehard I am for her books. They're so good. They make you believe in fairy tales and love and just love at first sight. They make you believe in like this spark and this thing that happens to you when you're in love, and I want that. I want that for my life. I want it. So anyway, again, lucky number 1, my favorite author is Abby Jimenez. Number 2, I know I screwed that up, but number 2 is definitely Stephanie Meyer. I don't know why I pretended there. Number 3, I would give to Katie Robert. I do really love her books. And then number 4, again, Elena Armas. Honestly, number 4 could probably beat Katie Robert. I like her writing, though, is the thing, and she has a very unique writing for Katie Robert. But like, I love a good love story that's like a traditional love story. So Elena Armas, she does them really well. So again, that third book's really good. It could move up at one point. And then Mr. Rick Riordan he's an amazing writer as well. He's the only boy writer, but he's really, really good. It's not my number 1 anymore because obviously I've moved on from this genre, but I do think he does this genre really well and this style of book really, really well. And so that's why he's number 5 for me. Again, this could get replaced. Let me know your favorite authors. Maybe one of your favorite authors will replace it. The thing is that there are such things as bad authors. I think that the bad authors are the moments that take you out of, you could tell because they're the moments when you sit back out of a book and you're like, why is that in there? Or like, that doesn't make sense. Like that A plus B doesn't equal C. There's this one, I just finished this book, which again, I'll probably mention it in a little bit, but I just wanted to tell you quickly what an example is an author I just don't really love. She wrote, the main guy was like cursing, like he would say like curse words throughout the thing, and then he said another curse word, and the girl says out loud like to him like, oh, I've never heard you curse before. And I'm like, she said, no, she said, she thought to herself, I've never heard him curse before, but I'm like, he just cursed and you were there, right there, like a few pages ago. I'm like, my brain shouldn't have caught on to that. So if you were going to write that in, necessarily, obviously it was an accident. I don't think she meant to do that, but I know for a fact that it was a writer's error, but I was like, I shouldn't have been able to catch that in my own head. And I knew for a fact, because I even went back to the pages and I was like, yeah, he cursed right, you were right there when he cursed the first time. Like, you had to have heard it. So it was whatever. So my point is that. And then there's also books where I just feel like I could, there are books that I feel like I can't put down, you read forever, but then there are those books that you can put down, and those I don't like, when you're just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna end it. If I can stop in the middle of a chapter, if I could put the bookmark in the middle of a chapter and put it down and move on and go do something else, you're not a good author. I don't appreciate your writing. Then I don't necessarily love your writing, I should say. Don't say you're not a good author, because everyone has their good books, their bad books, the good middle books in the middle. But I do think that there's a writing that keeps you captivated the entire time. Like, it's a struggle. You have to force yourself to put the bookmark in. And the books that you don't, where you're like, okay, I'll just put it in. Like, even if you're not at the end of the chapter and you put it in, that's saying something. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, guys. I know, we talked a lot, but I love talking about books, and I love talking about authors I love. And so again, let me know your favorite authors down below. Tell your friends to subscribe, guys. Give this video a thumbs up. If you guys want to chat a little bit more intimate, a little bit more one-on-one, definitely follow my Instagram at @sonerdy_me. We've been going places, people. I post about all the books I finished reading and that kind of stuff. I'm thinking about starting to do like more Instagram reels with like short versions of these videos over there. We'll see though. I'm not really good at those, so we'll see. But anyway, that is it, guys. Yes, I'll stop talking now. Bye, nerds!